Good morning and welcome to Bergen Community College Summer 1 Session 2020. And what an interesting semester it's going to be. I'm your instructor, Mike Eccles. A lot of you know who I am already. There might be a few of you who signed up late who haven't seen any of the two videos that I sent out already. But it's now time to start. Uh, it's going to be an interesting one because there's a lot of you who never have taken an online course before. And quite honestly, in my 21 years at Bergen, I've never taught an online class before. But because of everything that's going on, we're both in this together and we'll get through it. And I've taken what I've done over the last 23 years, actually, because I did this course 2 years before I came to Bergen. And I think I got something we put together that's going to work. So let's talk a little bit about it. You have your course outline and your course schedule that's attached to this email. So you can see some of the different things that we're going to be doing. It's kind of like an overall communication education that you get here. As you know, you could have taken COM 100 or COM 102, which is strictly public speaking, and that's basically just pretty much speeches for the entire semester. Now, we do have speeches, as you can see from your course outline. It's an informative speech and a persuasive speech. But we also have other different type of communications. We'll take this first week and talk about some of the basic concepts of communication theory. We'll also go ahead and talk about group communication, and we'll finish up the semester talking about one-on-one or interpersonal communication. So although public speaking is still a big part of the course, it's not the entire course. And especially that's going to work well in an online class. And as I've mentioned before, I do strongly recommend that you go ahead and set up for free a YouTube account to go ahead and whenever you need to record something and then send it to me in an email, going through a YouTube account, putting it on YouTube, getting the link. I mean, you can keep it private where only there's a setting, and some of you know this already because I think some of you probably already have YouTube accounts. It's a big deal to be on YouTube. But you know that there's a setting where only the person who you send the link to can see the video. This way, you don't let the rest of the world see it if you don't want to. But I think it's going to work very well. By the way, as you can see here, I am in the home office of my wife. No, I don't have an office. My wife never hardly ever lets me in here. This is kind of like I'm very privileged to be in here. But unfortunately, some of her teachers who missed her sent her some beautiful flowers the other day. I wish I could take credit for this. I gave her red roses, but they're starting to wilt just a little bit. But I'm sure they're going to be okay. Speaking of just a little bit about myself, yes, I am married. I have a 3-year-old daughter. Yes, with all this gray hair, I have a 3-year-old daughter. Um, waited until I was 51 years old to become a father. So it keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. But I'm at Bergen now. Come the fall, I'll be starting my 22nd year. And I really do love Bergen because, unlike some of my colleagues who come from a different part of the county or even from a different state, I am a Bergen County guy. Uh, you know, born and bred, Lyndhurst High School, class of 83, go Golden Bears, and I now live in a town called Ringwood over in Passaic County, but I still have my family back in Lyndhurst and people I went to high school with. As a matter of fact, one of the beautiful things about working at Bergen is I've actually had as students 6 people whose parents I graduated high school with. So that is, and of course I've had relatives, cousins, aunts, well, not aunts, but like nieces, nephews, uncles, just all kinds of different people in my family who have been students over the last 21 and a half years. And of course, friends. I mean, I was so immersed in the county for a long time. I played on 3 softball leagues. If you're from Garfield, over on Gaston, where they have that big running track around the 4 softball fields, I used to play on those fields quite often. Rochelle Park, where in the outfield they have the track where everybody does the rollerblading. I used to play on that field over there. Or in Paramus in Vanson Park. I used to play flag football in the fall and the spring. And we had a lot of Bergen County people. And as a matter of fact, the best quarterback in my league 8 years ago, took one of my evening classes that I was teaching at Bergen. So I'm a Bergen County guy. So I'm not someone who, wherever you're from or what your neighborhood or high school you went to, I'm going to know what it is and I'll be able to hopefully relate to certain things. So that's a little bit about the course. I don't want to talk for too much. I don't want to get too wordy. I'm looking at my time. I don't want to go too long and keep you here. But I do want to go ahead and start with your first assignment. Now, just to explain, you could see on your course outline, each of your assignments, the major assignments, has a maximum point total. By the way, let me just get into that real quick. When I grade things, I will never give you a letter grade. Everything is points accumulation. And I've kept it that way actually since I taught at Indiana State University, where I went and got my master's degree and then stayed on for a while. Did some morning radio. Oh, God, 3 years of morning radio. It's the reason why I get so much kick out of teaching the intro to mass media classes at Bergen also, being able to do morning radio for 3 years. But then I needed to supplement my income because, well, Terre Haute is not exactly New York City radio. So I would start teaching courses at Indiana State, and then I realized I could teach full-time and make more money than doing morning radio, and I don't have to get up at 2:30 in the morning anymore. So that's when I went into teaching full-time, did that for a couple of years, back in Indiana in the late 90s, and then I came over to Bergen, and I've been here since 1999. But points accumulation. I always do this because I think this helps the student more than anything else than giving letter grades. So as we continue through the semester, you're always accumulating as many points as possible towards a final point total. And you could see on the top of the assignments sheet, you could see that point, how many points you need for an A, for a B, for a C, and so on. Now, let me just say, for those who might think, can you get an A in this class? An A is very attainable. I am not one of those people who don't give out A's. Okay? I don't give out A's ever. And of course I do. You do your assignments, you do them well, you're going to get an A in the class. As a matter of fact, let's go back to last summer. Okay? One of my summer classes, I finished the class with 22 students. 12 of the 22 got an A in the class. Now, I know sometimes I need to go to the tutoring center for math help, but I think that was more than half. More than half the students got an A. So, and as you can see, your assignments, each of them has a maximum point total, and then comes class participation. This is going to be a little bit different than if we were in the classroom. And that's going to be based on all the little assignments that we'll have, plus handing in the major assignments on time. For example, your first little assignment towards your class participation is what I need from you for tomorrow, which is Tuesday, is I need for you to put together and record a 1.5 to 2 minute informal speech based on what would have been an answer of yours to our interview exercise. See, during the first day of class, I like to pair people up. They interview each other, and then one introduces the other to the class. And then, of course, the next day, you were assigned to give the speech. Well, nobody's interviewing anybody this time, but I put together several of the questions of you would provide an answer to. If you want to talk about your favorite vacation, you want to talk about where your favorite place to live was if it's not where you are living now. Or even if it's where you live now, if that's your favorite place to live, why? Okay. If you could spend 15 minutes or less with anyone, living or dead, from any time ever, who would that person be? Okay. And tell us why that would be someone you would have a conversation with. All right. So it needs to be at least a minute and a half. It has to be at least 90 seconds. And of course, you can't have any piece of paper. You can't be like standing there reading from a piece of paper. No. Remember, this is about your favorite vacation, your favorite hobbies, why you chose this as the major that you're studying. And all I'm doing is asking for you to talk about yourself, so you shouldn't have to write it on a piece of paper. And hopefully you can make it to at least 90 seconds. Because I tell you what, when school is in session, I'm walking through the student center at Bergen, boy, you got people talking about themselves all day. All I want is 90 seconds. So that's going to be your assignment. And that's all I got for you right now. So record your speeches. And this I'm sending to all 3 classes. And I need to have those speeches by 7 p.m. tonight. That, of course, is Monday night. 7 p.m. tonight. This way I can go over them, give them the 15 points, and then I go ahead on Tuesday, and as you can see on the assignment sheet, I want to provide at least 5 for every class. So if you put in the subject line of your email that you send me the speech in, and you say okay, then yours might be one of the 5 I provide. Now this, of course, is going out to all 3 classes, the COM 100, 001, 003, and 005. But those tomorrow, I'll send them out 3 separate emails. This way, you only get the 5 speeches from your own classmates. And I look forward to hearing. Tell us, why was that my favorite vacation? Well, I've been there 7 times, but it was my 5th time to Las Vegas, which is my favorite. Now, I could talk about that for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Unfortunately, by law, I'm not allowed to, because remember, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know how that works. My wife is in that trip. Anyway, so, yeah, as you can guess, she wasn't on that trip. I look forward to listening to your informal speeches. Also, try to do what I'm doing right now. Try to stand back a little bit. This way you get your hands free. I don't want you sitting right in front of the camera and you're just sitting down like, here's my favorite speech. No, I don't want that to happen. So go ahead, film your speeches, and I certainly look forward to seeing them on Monday night. All right? We'll see you guys soon.